Anderson, and I own this store CBD Plus with my sister Lee Henry. So we own it together, so it's a small family business. CBD oil is an oil that comes from the hemp plant, cannabidiol, and people use it for a wide variety of purposes. A lot of our customers use it for pain, inflammation, any kind of arthritis kind of thing, or nerve pain. We have a lot of customers who use it for anxiety instead of taking like benzos or Xanax, things like that. Then we also have a lot of customers who take it for Tourette's, epilepsy, Parkinson's, MS. Even though they're all very different, they all have neurological issues. So anything with tremors, muscle memory, things like that, people use it for too. Then we have some customers who use it while they're undergoing cancer treatment to help with the nausea, the body aches, the anxiety, as well as to help shrink tumor size or block cancer receptor cells, things like that. So marijuana, it's all under the cannabis family, but marijuana comes from a marijuana plant, and it's going to have a lot more THC in it. CBD comes from the hemp plant. So to kind of put it in perspective, recreational marijuana is really high in THC, very low in CBD. CBD is kind of the medicinal part. In the beginning, yes, I mean, when I opened my store, my mom was like, oh my God, what am I going to tell my church friends? My daughters are drug dealers. We're like, Mom, oh my God, no. But now all her and her church friends use it for their hips and their knees.
Fun fact. Cannabinoids are chemicals related to delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol. Marijuana is made mind-altering ingredient that makes people high.
We also need to state how many states it's actually like legal.
29 states.
How many states is it legal in?
29.
29.
Or actually come over here, cause so you'll, yeah, in front of the paint.
The lighting over here is better.
Yeah. In order to get medical marijuana, you need a written recommendation from a licensed doctor in the states where it's legal. And even to get that recommendation, you have to have a certain condition that qualifies to even for the use of medical marijuana. And each state has its own list of qualifying conditions. Your state must also require you to get a medical marijuana ID card, and once you have the card, you can go to a shop that sells it, which is called a dispensary.
The dispensary cards are interesting because, like ID cards, they can be faked, you know? But I wonder if there's like a serial number or something that prevents people just making a random card.
Because kids get like fake IDs to buy alcohol and
or if they have like a scanning gun that can tell whether it's real or not. Things like that.
I know, like there's some like definite. I don't know. I think I generally thought like it'd be more in this restricted in the South, I guess.
Is it restricted in the South? Like, are there more people?
I think it might be.
When you generally think of, yeah. So when you generally think of like which states have legalized marijuana, do you think of more northern states, western, eastern, or southern states?
Western.
Western.
Right? Yeah. Like that's where like Colorado and stuff is, right? In the western part.
California.
Like California, like one of the first to like legalize.
Thank you.
Kind of like in general.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, it's like kind of over the news of like California has legalized marijuana.
It just, you know, it was outlawed a long, long time ago because, I mean, it's just the history of CBD, but they decided to go with cotton instead of hemp. America used to raise hemp instead of cotton, and the people who were making the laws at the time had cotton farms, and that is why hemp was outlawed.
I wish that they would go deeper into decriminalization though, because while it's legal for like medical purposes, people still get in trouble for selling it, and it's like petty offenses or whatever.
People need to work on is fixing just everything kind of surrounding it, like the criminalization and.
Well, I just feel like they just need to make it clear, like confirmation, because people, you know, are doing this because they think that it is for a good purpose. but we're still trying to figure out if it should be legal or not legal. So it's just kind of confusing for some people because they're like, so you're trying to legalize it, but you don't want me to use it right now.
Okay, so what's your name?
I'm Jacqueline Seifert.
And you're a senior?
Yeah. For me, I was using a lot of weed, smoking a lot of it, and it, like I said, my tolerance got raised, and it was a huge gateway drug for me, and led to a lot of addictions for like way harder drugs, and I became an alcoholic. That all started from just smoking weed. So that's not the case for everyone, because not everyone has like the genetic makeup of an addict, but like it started out just smoking like every once in a while on weekends and stuff, and then it'd be like 5 times a day, and then that progressed to like snorting coke to get through the school day and snorting meth to party on the weekends. And I think it's a huge danger for kids to be smoking weed, even though I do think it should be legal for like cancer patients and stuff like that. But that's just based off my experience. It's not like that for everyone.
That's a really interesting position. You don't really talk to people that think it's like not the greatest to use, because a lot of people at STA, are for it. They're for it being recreational. So it is interesting to see your stuff.
I mean, I'm currently in an outpatient rehab program for my substance abuse issues, and none of that would have started if I hadn't started smoking weed. So that's kind of why I'm against it being legal.
What do you think about the car accident part of it, like increasing car accidents in places that it's legal?
I don't really believe when people are like, it doesn't affect how you drive, because it does get you high, and it will affect how you drive. So I do think that's a big issue. So I don't think it's safe.
It also, I think, brings into question the nature of alcohol being illegal, or alcohol not being illegal and killing more people and causing more damage in society.
Yeah, and
than weed has.
And also cigarettes, because cigarettes are more harmful
Yeah.
than marijuana is.
But they're still legal, and marijuana, which is like statistically.
Like, even though there's like an age limit on alcohol and cigarettes, it's like it still happens with young people. Like, young people still get into that sort of thing sometimes.
Yeah, and how much alcohol has killed kids and how much weed has killed kids. It's a very different situation. Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a limit to, that's why there's a purpose of, age limit. And, yeah, I feel like that, I think people should follow those rules because there's a reason for it.
So I went to CBD Plus on Warnell Road, and we talked to the owner, and we got a lot of really good information about what it's used for. And she was really descriptive in talking about the different products. There were so many different kinds.
What's the history of marijuana?
Well, the history of marijuana. So, it all kind of stems back to racism, actually, and the war on drugs. Who was it that started the war on drugs? Do you know? Was it Nixon? Who started on drugs? Nixon was war on drugs. So the war on drugs was an attempt to kind of stop the sale of this kind of stuff, but in their quest to make these things more illegal, it became harder to find healthy stuff that helped with that. And more people were scared of it instead of realizing the benefits that it had. And in general, the reason why marijuana is so looked down upon is because of racism. So you're welcome. Thanks, Nixon. So I feel like this could use a little bit more clarification and backing. And so this guy named John Ehrlichman, he was the domestic policy chief for Nixon back then in the 1960s, 1970s, early 1970s. And I'm going to read this quote that he said. So, at the time, I was writing a book about the policies of drug prohibition. I started to ask Ehrlichman a series of earnest, wonky questions that he impatiently waved away. You want to know what this is really all about? He asked with the bluntness of a man who, after public disgrace and a stretch in federal prison, had little left to protect. The Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies. the anti-war left, and black people. You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt these communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did.
This could be a blooper. Come on, Suzanne. You just run the scene.
Suzanne, why do you think marijuana is so criminalized?
I think it's criminalized because, like, even though, like, it's supposed to, like, you know, calm people down, it's still considered as, like, a drug because it can be, like, highly addictive too, and it can lead to, like, other, like, really bad drugs.
Well, I have a question. It's kind of like an argumentative type of question.
From the marijuana plant, but since THC is illegal in Kansas, all of our products are purely CBD. They have 0% THC, but can still provide some of the benefits that medical marijuana provides. But normal CBD oil has 0.3% THC, but we're not allowed to have that in Kansas, so it's 0%. But it's definitely beneficial for a lot of medical issues like sleep, anxiety, headaches, migraines, joint pain, inflammation. Like it's crazy how many people come in here with different things and tell me that CBD has worked for them.
What is the point? I understand that if we use medical marijuana, it will help some people, but what if they become addicted to it and it doesn't really help them in their situation?
I mean, you could be addicted to anything. You could be addicted to alcohol. You could be addicted to. You could be addicted to, like, your phone. It isn't that, like, I mean, there's just many ways you can be addicted to something. And, like, even in my grade school, like, we talked about DARE and stuff and how, like, marijuana is, like, a gateway to drug and stuff. And I don't know, it's just, like, I feel like it has more of a bad rep than it is.
And I feel like a lot of, like, Missouri is, like, the state of addiction, like, you know, with pills and, like, addiction, like, that kind of stuff. I can totally see that becoming an issue. Because if you think of it, like, prescription stuff is supposed to be healthy for you, and you're not supposed to, you know, take too much of it, but the regulations on medical marijuana aren't super, like, this is what you're supposed to have. Like, the dosages per day and everything, but you could, in, like, actuality, go out and buy a bunch of the stuff at once.
I'm still like...
Fun fact!
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has not recognized or approved the marijuana plant as medicine. However, scientific study of the chemicals in marijuana called cannabinoids has led to 2 FDA-approved medications that contain cannabinoid. I'm so bad at that.
Okay. So the U.S. Drug Administration has not recognized or approved of it as medicine, but it's led to 2 medications that contain the chemicals in pill form. So wait, isn't that... Okay, is it... Oh, so they took the cannabinoid chemicals out of the plant and put it into something else? That's what they're trying to say?